Coming up on OU Nightly, a devastating tornado barrels through parts of Oklahoma, the damage done in one community.
And severe weather chances continue this evening as well as for your weekend. I'll have the latest details.
Plus, Sooner softball is on track to smash multiple records this week. Find out which ones. This is OU Nightly.
Look at this. Oh my God.
Devastating tornado leveling homes in Enid last night. Preliminary reports from the National Weather Service saying that this tornado on your screen was an EF4. Thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Clay Webster.
And I'm Caroline Kramer. We begin with breaking news. Governor Kevin Stitt declaring a disaster emergency in Garfield and Kay counties following last night's tornado in Enid.
Multiple state agencies are responding to the damage. Governor Stitt saying he is working closely with state emergency managers today. And the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for Garvin County.
OU Nightly meteorologist Carlin McCreary joins us in the studio. Carlin, what does the severe weather risk look like today and for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, it's going to continue into this evening and even this weekend throughout parts of the state. Look at this shot behind me. Just absolutely devastating scenario for our friends up in Enid. My thoughts and prayers are with them as the National Weather Service has confirmed a preliminary rating of an EF4 tornado that touched down yesterday. So definitely something to keep in mind. You always want to be safe, especially as we continue into this weekend. We do have a tornado watch out for parts of southeastern Oklahoma. We even did see some tornado warnings that did pop up as we continued throughout parts of the afternoon. This is the type of weather we're going to see into this weekend. We are keeping a very close eye on it as both conditional risks are set up for Saturday and Sunday. So we're keeping a close eye on it for you guys, and I'm going to have more details as we continue throughout the show. Back to you all.
Thanks, Carlin. And our reporters have the latest on that tornado from last night.
OU Nightly reporter Nikki Womack joins us in the newsroom with coverage of the tornado. Nikki?
Caroline, Clay, the community of Enid is currently working together after the devastating tornado that hit last night. The tornado has recently been classified as an EF4, and thankfully no lives were lost. Now the quiet after the storm, the survey of the damage begins. Last night, a tornado swept through Enid, leaving at least 40 homes destroyed and many people suffering the loss.
Once you get down to the south side, you're going to see damage kind of scattered across.
Collins is a reporter for OU Nightly and is a resident of Enid who went home to visit his family for the weekend, but now is seeing what is happening to his community, friends, and family.
I know some old family friends that actually live in Gray Ridge. Their house, I think, got destroyed. We were trying to call them, couldn't really get in contact with them last night.
However, with this happening, according to Collins, he has been seeing the Enid community come together to help each other out.
You're seeing people help each other out, though, just sheltering together, checking up on each other, and yeah, that's a good thing.
Enid Police Department is currently helping monitoring the situation and is only allowing residents in the destroyed areas. Reporting in Norman, Nikki Womack, OU Nightly.
Nikki, thank you. And according to the Garfield County Sheriff's Office, only minor injuries are being reported at this time.
Tornadoes like these often start small but can quickly turn violent. OU Nightly meteorologist Isaac Walters joins us in the studio with a breakdown of just how this tornado developed. Isaac?
Yes, that's right, Caroline. You saw it start small, but as you saw from that footage, it got very, very large, very quickly, very terrifying footage. Very miraculous, I would say, that we're seeing only minor injuries at this time. We're going to time this out for you. What it looks like on radar. You saw it on the video there. We're going to time this out on radar. You see the tornado warning is issued right there. We had a PDS tornado warning, which means particularly dangerous situation tornado warning. That's a very high honor to bestow a storm. But then further, we also saw a tornado emergency. So that's going to move on out there as you see. And it moves through the south portion of Enid there in the coming hours yesterday. So we're going to take it back to you guys now on the desk.
Isaac, thank you. And new today, we are hearing from the city of Enid on recovery efforts. In a new statement today, the city is saying the most needed items right now are gloves, shovels, and other cleanup supplies. Food donations are also requested and can be directed to the Salvation Army. If you would like to donate financially, you are asked to stop by the Unit Way of Enid of the Cherokee Strip Community Foundation.
And Oklahoma was not the only state to experience severe weather recently. OU Nightly's Sutton Parker has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
We begin in the Midwest, where a massive severe weather outbreak spawned multiple tornadoes over the past 2 days.
In Lake Cahola, Kansas, an EF1 tornado touched down, damaging and in some cases flattening cabins. Resident Tyson Smith was in the area during the tornado.
It flipped to a warning. We went outside to go in my neighbor's basement. A tornado was just a little bit away from us at that point when we were walking in, so we really had very little warning that it was coming.
Further north, in Little Sioux, Iowa, a tornado touched down in a farming community, ripping through buildings and tossing grain trailers yards away.
The tornado came right down here and just went a short distance and went up. Really tossed around the grain trailers for the semis, the hopper bobs. For some reason, it got a hold of them and threw them like up to a quarter mile.
And residents in southeast Wisconsin are picking up the pieces after an EF2 tornado tore through their community earlier this week. One resident says she's still shaken from the storms.
I've never seen what has happened driving through the subdivision with the trees. I haven't slept well.
And in North Carolina, a U.S. active duty special forces soldier has now been arrested. Prosecutors say he bet on the operation that captured Venezuelan president in early January. They believe Master Sergeant Gannon Ken Van Dyke won $400,000 on the platform Polymarket before the mission. President Trump says he's concerned with the rise of betting on political events.
Well, you know, the whole world, unfortunately, has become somewhat of a casino. I'm not happy with any of that stuff, but they have all these different sites. They have predictive markets. It's a crazy world.
Van Dyke is set to face criminal charges and will make his first appearance in court next week. Clay, Caroline, back to you.
Thanks, Sutton. And coming up, a big weekend in Norman where thousands gather as the music festival returns. Find out about the impact the festival is having across Norman.
And OU students could get 2 new school holidays. Find out why student leaders say this proposal would help improve voter turnout. Coming up.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
No, no, no. Turn it down. Turn it off. Get a hand. Lose the bells and whistles. Drive without distractions.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. The Norman Music Festival kicked off Thursday and is still in full swing right now. The festival is known as one of the largest free music festivals in the country, with hundreds of artists over the next 3 days.
In a Facebook post, Norman Mayor Stephen Tyler Holman said the festival is a major economic boost for the city and an opportunity to welcome new people to Norman. And our weather team is at the festival right now with your latest forecast.
OU Nightly meteorologist Brighton Calloway joins us from the festival grounds. Brighton, what do people need to know before they head out tonight and tomorrow?
Thank you, Clay and Carolyn. I'm standing outside on Main Street, downtown Norman, right outside the Winston, and a lot of people are already making their way out to enjoy the celebrations we have here at the Norman Music Festival. This has been an 18-year tradition, so still going strong. Now, to talk about the weather for tonight, right now we do have some light winds making their way into cooling us down, which is great to get out and enjoy all the activities, but we do have to talk about the severe weather risk we have going into tonight. Thankfully, Norman is staying in that marginal risk, so that's a 1 out of 5 on that risk factor. Our main threats are hail and quarter-size hail, but it should be very dry tonight and a great time to get outside.
Thanks, Brian. New today, the OU Graduate Student Senate is requesting the university recognize both Election Day and the Friday before OU Texas as student holidays. The new bill authorized by the Graduate Student Senate says in the 2022 midterm elections, Oklahoma's voter turnout rate was over 6% less than the national average. The Graduate Senate says this bill is to ease barriers, students face when voting, while also providing the opportunity for students to get to the game safely.
Well, our stretch for severe weather is continuing this evening and into tomorrow. I'll have all of the details and what you need to know as we continue into the weekend, right here on OU Nightly.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Well, hey friends, welcome back to OU Nightly. We've made it to Friday, but we still have severe weather in the forecast this evening and into this weekend, so let's get right into it. Right now, there is a tornado watch out for southeastern parts of Oklahoma. We even did have some tornado warnings out earlier this afternoon that we kept a very close eye on. There still looks to be one north of Ardmore as we look at that storm right there, but as we continue throughout the evening, that threat for severe weather does remain right there near the Red River towards the Texas border, right there in the orange. That's a level 3 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center scale, enhanced risk. But for us in Norman, we're sitting right at a marginal risk. That's a level 1 out of 5 throughout today and tonight. We've got another system that's going to make its way through into tomorrow as we continue over the next few hours or so. Here's that setup. We've got a dry line that's going to sit to our west and another front sitting to our northeast. It could bring some storms as we continue into the afternoon and evening hours. Then we're watching another setup as we continue into Sunday. It really just depends on how fast and how far that warm front starts to tilt. So these are both pretty conditional threats that we're keeping a close eye on as we continue through this weekend, but definitely important to stay weather aware as we go into tomorrow and Sunday. Here's that risk for tomorrow for your Saturday. This is going to be our higher risk into the weekend. We do have an enhanced risk out for most of eastern Oklahoma. As I said earlier, a level 3 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center scale. And as we continue into Sunday, you can see that risk does start to continue. Here's what we're looking at for those severe threats as we go into Saturday. Hail and wind are going to be the main things we're looking at, but tornado threat is not zero, so still something to keep an eye on. As I said, here's Sunday. You can see that threat shifts north. That enhanced risk is up in Kansas, but for us, we're going to be in a slight risk for severe weather. That's the level 2 out of 5 that I was talking about earlier, and you can see that right here as we zoom into more of the state. You can see Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa, Miami. Much of Oklahoma is going to sit in this risk. So as we can continue over the next 2 days or so. Those main risks that we are keeping a close eye on are going to be primarily wind and hail threats. So this is something we're going to keep a very close eye on. As I said, it's conditional. So if all of the ingredients get into play, we could see those storms start to fire up ahead of that dry line by tomorrow and even by the time we get to Sunday. So this is something we're really watching. As we continue into Saturday, I want to track some things out for you. This is this afternoon. You can see some storms fire up near the Red River, continuing as we go into the next few hours or so. We're going to clear out into the overnight hours, but this is what we're looking at by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon. You can see some storms start to pop up as we continue into the after dinner time hours. So right around 7 to 8 p.m. is what we're looking at for that timeline. As far as tomorrow afternoon gets, be sure to keep an eye on your phone, stay weather aware, get those weather alerts. And as we continue over the next 7 days, as I said, tomorrow and Sunday are those main risks that we're looking at for severe weather. Back to you guys.
Now, Baseball League is making sure kids and young adults with disabilities get a chance to play and feel included.
The games are played on a fully accessible rubber field in Ackworth, Georgia, so everyone can safely participate in America's pastime. And it's become a place where families come together.
No scoreboards, no strikeouts, just a game where everyone belongs. Speaking of Diamond Sports, we will have a live report on one Sooner squad looking to break their own records.
Plus, several former Sooners look to have their names called in Day 2 of the NFL Draft. Find out who is up next in Big Friday Sports.
Winter is upon us, and every Oklahoman knows that that means unpredictable freezing temperatures. One of the main concerns with freezing temperatures is the damage they can cause to your home or business should they cause your water pipes to freeze over. Older homes, especially those without proper insulation or that have basements or crawl spaces with exposed pipes, are particularly susceptible to this. Here is Rachel Croft, City of Norman Water Treatment Plant Manager, to show you the proper steps you can take to prevent your pipes from freezing.
The good news is you don't need to run a whole lot of water in order to combat freezing from your pipes. Here's how you do it. Another thing that you can do to help is to open your cabinet doors to make sure that warm air throughout your home is getting to your faucet pipes. But you want to make sure to remove any harmful chemicals that any small children or pets could have the ability to reach.
Following these steps can help save money on your water bill and help to conserve Norman's water supply.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to another edition of Big Friday Sports. I'm Oliver Schaefer, joined by Hunter Cornejo. Hunter, what have you got for our final April show?
Yeah, Oliver, it's looking like a record-breaking weekend for Patty Gasso in the Sooners. OU Nightly sports reporter Chris Holtman has more from Love's Field.
Hunter, in the Sooners game against Arkansas Pine Bluff on Tuesday, they hit 3 home runs, tying the NCAA record for home runs in a season. But head coach Patty Gasso has bigger things in mind, including their upcoming matchup against Georgia.
We're going to get there if it's meant to be, but I want us to have a chance to win a national championship and an SEC championship, and I need to get these guys. We've got to grind the next 2 weeks, and I need them to breathe. Tony Baldwin is very, very good at his job, and he gets hitters to hit, and they can swing it, and they're showing their numbers are very good on defense. They're finding ways to beat teams, and we're going to have to pitch very, very well, and we're going to have to find ways to get on base, score some runs. They're a very, very good team. I think probably underrated, or people don't look at them close enough. They should be looking closer. They're really good.
The last time these two teams met was at the Women's College World Series in 2021, and this series marks the Bulldogs' first ever trip to Norman, and first pitch is tonight at 6:30. Reporting from Loves Field, Chris Holman, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Chris. Skip Johnson and the Sooners head to the Plains for the first time ever in a top 15 showdown against Auburn. Both the Sooners and the Tigers are tied for 4th in the SEC at 10-8. And fresh off a conference series sweep and a comeback win in the midweek, Oklahoma looks to continue adding to the win column.
You come from behind, you get momentum going. I think that's good. And you got to continue the momentum. You got to continue the confidence. And confidence is a fragile piece of ice, and you got to make sure that you do things that are confident. And you tell these guys all the time when you're struggling, just remember your bats and don't get out the same way twice. And the same thing with pitching.
According to court documents, the NCAA is taking Owen Heineke to court to appeal Owen Heineke's additional year of eligibility. This comes after a Cleveland County court judge granted Owen Heineke an injunction allowing him to return to OU last Thursday. The case will go to the Oklahoma Supreme Court next. First round of the NFL draft kicked off last night. No Sooners have been selected yet. ESPN's second round mock draft has 2 Sooners coming off the board in day 2. The first being R. Mason Thomas, who is selected at 56 going to the Jaguars, and wide receiver Deion Burks going to Miami. Defensive lineman Grayson Halton falls outside of day 2, but is the 6th best defensive tackle available according to ESPN. The Sooners aren't too worried as they have faith in the work they put in.
It's that word right there, just process, and just being committed to a process without getting too hung up on goals and outcome based. You know, it's cool to have dreams and have lofty goals, but at the end of the day, if you just commit to a process and taking advantage of your opportunities you have, and today in this moment, you'll end up achieving those goals in the long run. So.
One of the biggest splashes OU football made in the 2025 transfer portal was running back Jaden Ott. Many thought he would be the leader of the running back room, but clearly things did not go as planned. With the NFL draft underway, OU Nightly's Michael Thompson has more on the Ott situation.
Jaden Ott's time in Norman sparked more controversy and question marks than highlight plays. He covered more ground on this 40-yard dash than any single rush this season. Ott only recorded 68 total yards, but explains why he never really found his place on the field.
There was just a couple of injuries, a little shoulder sprain in the fall camp, kind of was dealing with it a little bit into the season. But, other guys, our other running backs were doing very well, and so it didn't really make sense to take them off the field. And so I just came in to practice every day and did my job and was ready just in case my name got called.
While his time as a Sooner wasn't full of touchdowns and trucking defenders like he might have thought, Jaden Ott knows that the lessons he learned in practice and on the sidelines will help him be league ready when the time comes.
I learned a lot. I went through some trials and tribulations that a lot of guys don't face until they get into the league. It might be like that in the league when I have to make practice squad or be on practice squad and still be able to contribute to the team and not come in the building and be in bad spirits.
But catching the attention of NFL teams has not been that simple.
Conversations with scouts have been limited, to be honest. After the Senior Bowl, I got a little bit of buzz and from the coaches that were there coaching me, but yeah, it's been limited.
Over 80% of his career rushing yards came in his first 2 years at Cal, but even with outdated film, Jaden Ott isn't concerned.
I still think it shows, what I was able to do, what I am able to do, and, a little bit of the Senior Bowl as well. I'm not too worried. I'm just let God handle it.
At California's Pro Day, Ott said that he would not claim the Sooners in his Sunday Night Football intro, should he even get the chance to suit up. In Norman, Michael Thompson, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Michael. The Oklahoma City Thunder are looking to crank up the heat on the Phoenix Suns going to Game 3.
And find out what head coach Mark Daigneault has to say on Jalen Williams' injury going into tonight, coming up after the break.
Items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste. These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. My name is Colter Gasky, and it is senior weekend here at Loves Field. So let's go ahead and take a look at your forecast for the Georgia series. It's going to be a warm one. It's starting at 79 for that first pitch at 6:30, but then a chance of storms comes through on Saturday. Time at first pitch will be about 77 degrees, and then 78 for the game wrapper on Sunday. And we're tracking the chance of storms throughout the weekend. But Hunter, Oliver, I understand that you guys are tracking some thunder of your own in Arizona.
Yeah, thank you, Colter. The NBA playoffs is here, and with it comes the Thunder's chase for Ring 2. The Thunder are up 2-0 and are heading out west to take on the Suns. But they might be without star Jalen Williams. He has already suffered 2 hamstring injuries this season and has one happened 2 nights ago. This latest injury comes on his other hamstring, however. Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault says Dub will travel with the team to Phoenix. Williams will not be playing tomorrow night and will be considered week to week.
I thought he was playing great, obviously. You know, he was on the gas. He had great force, got really good shots, got good shots for his teammates, especially early. So, yeah, I mean, he was playing an outstanding game and was really good in game 1 as well. Yeah, I mean, he's the man. You know, he's a great spirit. He's a great teammate. He's totally coachable and a great competitor, obviously. You know, hard worker. It's a credit to how he's endured, you know, the last year.
Former Sooner Austin Reaves is attempting to play tonight against the Houston Rockets, according to ESPN. Reaves suffered an oblique injury on April 2nd against the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Lakers currently hold a 2-zip lead. And if they are able to get Reaves back, it would be a massive help for them and LeBron James. OU men's golf team finished 4 over today in the SEC tournament and currently sit 1 shot ahead of the cut line at 12 under. All-American Jay Summey made history for the Sooners as he shot 12 under through 54 holes. That's a school record for a conference championship. Summey finished as the runner-up on the individual leaderboard.
Well, I think that just about wraps things up. Thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us. Tune in same time next week for the last Big Friday show of the year.
It's another big weekend for sports with the NFL draft and NBA playoffs. We'll see you next time.